Hello, respective viewers. It's George from Ireland. Anyway, so thank you for coming back to my channel. Well, Asif Ali Zardari has been re-inaugurated, perhaps I should say, as president of Pakistan. Yet another surprise. So he is the only person to have served as president of Pakistan twice, especially surprising that they're non-consecutive terms. He was the 11th president, and now he's the 14th president. So who is he? He's best known as being a prominent figure in the Pakistan People's Party and perhaps Pakistan's best known widower, as in his wife was Benazir Bhutto, so far the only woman to serve as Prime Minister of Pakistan from 1988 to 1990 and then 93 to 96. I met her in Oxford in 2000. She was assassinated in Pakistan on the 27th of December 2007. She got abroad in 2000, lived in the United Arab Emirates, where her children were schooled, and then she was found guilty in absentia of various offences. Her husband, Mr. A.A. Zardari, he spent a few years awaiting trial in prison, never convicted of anything. Now, there are all sorts of accusations of graft thrown at him, saying he was called Mr. 10%, demanded kickbacks. Of course, that could be false. Pakistani politics is egregiously dirty. If he had his fingers in his till, he wouldn't be the only one. But is that really excusatory? This is a country of over 200 million people, where the great majority of people live in dire penury, where almost half the children do not go to school at all, and there's a tiny minority of super rich people. There's a small middle class by Western standards. Small, might be like 5% of the population, you know, and there might be 20% of the population be sort of working class by Western standards, and something like 75% of the population live in poverty. Anyway, so the PPP claims to say that socialism is their economic policy, but that's clearly not the case. They definitely like private property. The elitists do run it, and they don't do that much for the impecunious. But anyway, he's back. He's not Pakistan's worst politician, and I saw him being sworn in. And of course, only one who professes the Mohammedan faith may hold the office of President of the Islamic Republic. And then he swore that he is indeed a Muslim, believing the oneness of Allah and the Quran and the Hadith and so forth. So that is he's back. He is 60, how many years old? 68 years old? Yeah. And he's a Sindhi, born in Karachi. So there's that Sindhi ethnic group. There's some prejudice against them. And he is a Sunni Muslim, whereas his late wife was Shia. So he attended St. Patrick's School in Karachi, one of the best ones. Now, his sometime nemesis, the late General Pervez Musharraf, was also there several years ahead of him. But he was also Karachi Grammar School. So the two most distinguished schools in the country. Karachi, St. Patrick's High School was founded by Irish Catholic priests right beside St. Patrick's Cathedral. Of course, the majority of his pupils were Muslims, but anyway, then he lied, saying he'd gone to London Business School, but that's actually not true. So been in business ever since, didn't have this outstanding education like his good wife who went to Radcliffe College. That was a female version of Harvard, probably emerged just after she graduated. And then Lady Margaret Hall, which is part of Oxford University. So he's got a daughter and two sons. His son, Bilal, is the head of the Pakistan People's Party. Went by Bill when he was at Oxford, but Bilal uses his mother's maiden name Bhutto more than Zardari. In 2008, just after Musharraf stood aside as president, Zardari was elected president. There were attempts to assassinate him as well. So he's very much anti-Taliban. They'd murdered his wife and so on. But his moderation is within certain limits, because he didn't speak out against the death penalty for blasphemy or apostasy. To do so would be to invite assassination. Somewhat observant Muslim, but he watches films that the Taliban would certainly consider to be morally dubious and things like that. So his his ex-wife and daughters, they certainly don't cover their faces. And Benazir, when she's in the United Kingdom, she didn't used to cover her hair back in the 70s. I don't see anything wrong with that, but the Taliban would kill her for that, would wear evening dresses and stuff like that. But this is before that some of this really vicious fundamentalism got going. Certainly in Karachi, it was always there in the northwest frontier province, or the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, as we've been to call it for the last 15 years. And one of the surprising things, I hope the country doesn't break up. I want a Euro wife, Turkish, maybe Israeli or Russian, need kids like the royals. Well, that's a tall order to get them. You're a dual citizen of Pakistan. Where else? Yeah, I mean, obviously there was some sort of insurgency in Balochistan. I don't think it's going anymore. And the Taliban, to what extent were like the independence movement of the Pathan people? I'm not sure. Those who straddle the Durand line, you'll find them in both the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Afghanistan, in particularly the east and south of Afghanistan, as in along the border of Pakistan. So he faces many serious challenges: high inflation, rising unemployment, a population explosion, very, very difficult to provide enough jobs or public services, sanitation, healthcare, education, anything to such a rapidly rising population. Some of the worst pollution in the world, heavy economic dependence on China, and its economy is slowing down, though still growing. Obviously, bad relations with India. Well, not bad relations with Afghanistan or Iran at the moment. Iran's got many other problems. So that's it. They've got a very energy thirsty economy. Pakistan's got almost no energy production of its own. There's a fairly large area, a very sunny country with a coast, very, some mighty rivers. Its potential for renewable energy is enormous, but they're just not investing. Karachi is the largest city in the world without a metro system, so there are many serious headaches he's got to face. He's elected by the Pakistani parliament, not by the ordinary people, and so it's another 5-year term. I don't think there's a limit on the number of terms you can serve. And he's unusual being a civilian president who actually served out the whole of his term. And if he managed to serve to the end of this term, I think that'll be unique. So someone to actually serve 2 terms, who's anyone to be elected to non-consecutive terms as president of Pakistan. Okay. So what else was I going to say? So the Muslim League there's a party that partitioned India. Then it was dissolved shortly after independence. There was military dictatorship in the 50s. It was brought back really as a vehicle for General Ayub Khan, the military ruler. So then what happened? So then the Pakistan People's Party was founded by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the father of Benazir Bhutto, and the PPP and the Muslim League were the 2 major parties, the 2 rivals. But the Bhutto family has dominated the PPP since its foundation almost 60 years ago. So it's been led by 3 generations of the Bhutto family and 4 individuals. So Zardari is one of those dynasts, even though he's not actually a blood member of the Bhutto family. But anyway, they've been cooperating for several years to keep Tehrik-i-Insaf out as a movement for justice, which is led by Imran Khan, the former prime minister who's now serving a jail sentence, having revealed state secrets whilst he was premier, former captain of the cricket team, and famously led them to Cricket World Cup victory in the early 90s. They've not performed terribly well in more recent years. And cricket being the most popular sport in Pakistan, he was a national hero. But the Tehrik-i-Insaf had a very bad beginning in 1996, failing to win a single seat. But were they stitched up? There's a lot of personation in Pakistani elections, a lot of bogus votes, and valid votes are discounted and so on. Is it the deep state, the establishment? Is it the ISI, Inter-Services Intelligence, the Secret Service ISI? They say that really runs Pakistan. And they simply decided who's going to win and told the PPP and the Muslim League, you're going to work together or we'll topple you. And that's happened. They want to keep the Tehrik-i-Insaf out, which is even more tinged with fundamentalism than the others. The PPP is the most liberal, has a higher relative term. Then, the other one going the other way is the Muslim League. There's a clue in the word Muslim. And the Tehrik-i-Insaf, partly because they draw their support more from rural areas. They are more reactionary because they're squabbling over the same turf as the Jamiat-e-Islami. The Jamiat-e-Islami would really like to turn Pakistan into a version of Afghanistan. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my channel. So make sure you subscribe on Patreon, donate on PayPal. Goodbye.